culture that was built in Toronto was built by Dwayne Casey. So they're just gonna be an interesting team to watch. And if I had to buy the league pass next year and I couldn't pick my own team,
Don't ever
Detroit would
buy
be
the
a
league
team I
pass.
would
Take that
watch.
back right now. Take that back right now. Don't ever
No,
buy
I
the
know.
league pass. We don't support
Now
the
with the
league
Fire
pass around
Stick, I
here.
would never.
It's the
Now with the Fire
biggest
Stick.
biggest scam the NBA's ever put out.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah.
How are you gonna tell me to pay over $100 a year and you're gonna tell me I can't watch half the games? Yeah, fuck.
Especially
How you
too,
gonna tell me?
especially too as a fan of like an American team, Seabass, you would have the same issue. I remember when I was first interested a couple years ago, I was telling them I'm a Clippers fan, like I want to watch Clippers games, and they're basically saying like you can't because of blackouts and it's just not on
Yeah,
TV. And I'm like, what? Why would I get it then? And then you're in Canada, so you can't watch the All Star. You don't get the playoff package. I was like, why would I spend money on this then? So I don't
exactly.
know. Yeah, streams are
Like,
much better.
it's like,
I don't know why we don't have a feature like YouTube TV over here, where they had that deal where anybody could put on any game without having to worry about the TV deals.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
I wish we had something like that. You could just put on any game. You don't have to worry about any of the blackouts. Why do you have to worry about that if you're paying money?
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like
honestly, the NBA League Pass is like turning 18 and going in to a fucking porno store and
a
buying yourself a
gentleman's
movie.
club.
Yes, you bought the DVD. The DVD you could have found online for free, and for what? Just to
Yeah,
have to awkwardly hide it around your room, not be
yeah.
able to watch it when you want to watch it.
I think I
It's terrible.
still, and I
Having a
remember.
porno DVD in 2022 is nuts.
No, yeah, like
Like,
why?
why would you?
At
I
that
only
point,
say
at
this
that point, you're
because
just a
I
weirdo.
made that
Honestly,
mistake as a young child.
Yeah, like where do you hide that?
in
Oh man, it
2022, if
moved.
you currently have porno DVDs inside your house, you're honestly just a weirdo. Because just figure it out at this point. Like now you're
You gotta
collecting
look like
something
a
you
wild
don't need to have
scumbag having a
possession
girl
of.
over.
Yeah.
Wild scumbag.
But speaking of the NBA League Pass, like it's unfortunate because it should be more accessible to a lot of people. Because the
hmm
biggest, and I was telling Tarek this the other night, the biggest qualm I have with a lot of like NBA casual fans, just casual watchers, is they're only gonna watch their team, right? If I only watch Clippers games, you're only going to hear Clippers opinions. I won't have any idea about, how nice Miles Bridges is playing, how great DeJounte, Murray was, Marcus Smart winning Defensive Player of the Year. I would be like, well, why didn't this guy win it? Why didn't this guy win it? Like, why didn't my guy win it? So I like the League Pass for that. It gives people the opportunity to watch, some guys that are like all NBA level guys that you wouldn't normally get to see. So I just think it should be definitely more accessible for people to watch.
Dan, do they have a feature on there that you can like watch the old games, or can you just watch games live?
You can watch previous games. I believe that season. I don't know with the NBA League Pass, but I know with NHL Game Center, you could go back in history and watch games. There's a really great account that I follow
hmm
That would
on
be
Twitter, the Dime Dropper Pod, and he's doing like I think he's a bit younger than us. He might be our age, like he's in his 20s, but he's going back and he's watching games in like the 60s and doing like very very deep research because a lot of people nowadays are just watching. Okay, I watched the 2010s and up, so this is my knowledge I have of the NBA, or I watched from '05 and up, and like sure, like you can gather a good bit of knowledge, but you can't really reflect on the history. You don't really know how great Larry Bird was. Larry Bird gets slandered. You know what I mean? Like you don't know how I slander Bill Russell. I've never watched a Bill Russell game. You know what I mean? So for him to go back and he's posting videos and he does a whole breakdown, and they're all on YouTube. You can watch them all. So for him to do that and then provide it for us, I think that's awesome. Because again, I'm an NBA. I consider my NBA like myself an NBA historian, and I just encourage a lot of people to go and do that research and figure out how the game has evolved, who was great in their own eras. But yeah, I just think that's really cool. But speaking of all NBA players, I know I mentioned that a bit ago. Let's get into